Hey. So, I'm Micah Earth Spirit. This is Hyatt.
Hey.
We're making
Something here.
something. We wanted to make a video for both of our channels, the Dew of Light and Abundant Source, to talk about relationship.
Mm-hmm.
We're kind of in a relationship. It's like solidified. It's been like 2 months.
Yeah.
So we're pretty sure that this is a real thing. And we wanted to make a video where we kind of like actively talk about what our relationship is with you and with ourselves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's kind of like right now it feels like there's a lot of relationships that are a little more alternative, and there's kind of been for a long time just this idea of how relationships are and kind of this like box that they fit into, and a lot more people I think are trying to break out of that and be sort of like relationship anarchists. And yeah, it feels really cool to explore that. And yeah, it feels really progressive, but with that it's also like, well, what exactly are we, and what's our relationship kind of look like? And yeah, I think we're just kind of discovering that ourselves, and we kind of want to share it with you in the process. We're all sort of learning together about relationship, and just kind of sharing how we are together in ours.
Yeah, I think like one thing that feels really good about like us forming this relationship, and as we've talked about relationship, is this idea of like seeing what happens. Like, we haven't put a lot of expectations on things. We're just like really trying to be present with it. And especially like the last 2 months, we both were traveling a little, and it's like there's definitely something here, but we're going to festivals. And so there's been this really like beautiful open spaciousness about like, what is relationship? What does that word mean? Like, what word do we want to use to define this? And kind of feeling like it's okay when we agree and when we disagree.
Yeah.
Like, a few weeks ago we had a conversation about boyfriend, and I was like, I like that word.
Yeah.
And I was like,
I don't know if I have ever really at least liked calling a partner a girlfriend for some reason. Yeah, I don't know why. It's like I pretty much never call partners my girlfriends. I usually call them partners or something else, but I think that girlfriend and boyfriend is a term that just I associate with being kind of in that really defined category, and that's just what my brain associates with it. So I try not to use it for that reason.
yeah.
Where to me, I don't know, for some reason partner sounds like it's a little more flexible.
And my take is kind of like, I get to define the meanings of what the words are that I use, and I kind of like the history of boyfriend and girlfriend. Like, that feels like we've both chosen N at that point, and there's like a little more of a label that people outside of us understand. Like, my mom gets when I say I have a boyfriend, she understands that word. And so it feels like it gives kind of a societal structure to like help other people understand what we're navigating, even if like all the things of like boyfriend and girlfriend don't resonate for us. It's like it still creates a container, I guess, that feels good for me. I've been calling him my boyfriend.
Yeah, I think usually I just say I'm in a relationship. I usually don't put more of a term on it than that. But yeah, I think maybe we could start by what we think our relationship is as far as polyamory versus monogamy, or if we would even categorize ourselves as either of those things, and what your opinion on that is.
Yeah. I'm like, my head is a little behind because I was like thinking about how we were talking about new relationship paradigm and just like even like finding the old words versus new words. Like, as we're really creating our own relationship the way that we want it, then it's like, it's interesting to just break out of molds completely and be like, we can do whatever the fuck we want. There's no right and no wrong here. So yeah, as far as the question you just asked, which was like, are we poly? Are we monogamous? Like, what is our relationship model? I think for me, it feels like we've been like talking about, or that we've been in more of an open model. I don't know if I feel like I want to say like we're definitely polyamorous or we're definitely monogamous. We're definitely not monogamous in my mind. But I found that I like keeping an idea that like you're where like I'm mainly focused, and yet if somebody else comes along, I kind of want to be open to like see what the reality of that attraction is. And vice versa, like if somebody comes along for you that may be better suited, I want you to be open to explore that also. So it's like I don't want to limit you, but I also feel focused on you.
Yeah, I feel really similarly. I feel like we're in a pretty open, just free type of relationship, and that I feel like I want you to be free to explore any possibility you want, and I'm gonna do the same if it lines up with my intuition and my highest desire and all that. And that being said, I typically never feel a high desire to go outside of our relationship. I feel like I'm a very affectionate person, and that I love to give a lot of love to everybody, and that I love to touch everybody and snuggle and cuddle with everybody. And so, in that, it feels polyamorous. Like I'm going to give my attention and my affection to a lot of people, but I've also kind of thought to myself that my sexuality feels very monogamous, and that I'm not especially sexually driven, and so sexuality for me feels like I feel very content and happy with one partner in that. And so that's kind of just where I'm at, and I don't know how to label that. I don't think that I want to.
Yeah, I like that, and I like that we feel slightly different. Like my sexuality feels maybe larger and stronger, and I like came out of a marriage, and so I still feel like kind of a want to be able to explore sexuality if it feels alive. But what I'm finding like really interesting is that kind of more permission and like communication that we have, the less like I want anything outside of this. And I was telling someone the other day, like my standards have gotten higher because I'm like, well, if it's not Hyatt, like then like it's got to at least be like Hyatt, you know. There's like a level of like what I'm getting here and this connection that kind of raises the bar for my other connections. Like, is this really worth it? I already have something really beautiful. And so if it's just like a flash in a bottle, I guess it doesn't really feel worth my time and attention. Yeah. And that's cool. It's like actually giving myself permission makes me realize I don't want the things that I think I want, like sometimes. Yeah. So note to self, like secrecy and trying to hide the truth might actually create more problems in your relationship. If you just state what you want, you might find that you don't actually want it.
Yeah, it feels like, I mean, expressing your truth is always going to be the best, because you're either going to be in a compassionate relationship and an understanding relationship that's like, okay, like, thank you for sharing, let's talk about this, let's process this together, and like see how we feel about this. Or if there's total resistance from the other person when you share your truth, then and you're still feeling a pull to go somewhere else, then that can maybe tell you that you know, maybe it is in your best interest to go another path from your partner. So
Yeah, I think that the undercurrent there, and what I see really working in our relationship, is just this ability to communicate, like our radical communication. We just talk about pretty much everything. Um, and we've talked about like boundaries, we've talked about agreements. Even if we don't need them, we feel like it's good to have them in place in case, like maybe we're not feeling the desire to be polyamorous, but let's talk about what would happen in that scenario, just to make sure we have agreements underhand. And then we also have like a really big agreement to be able to communicate with each other in the future. Like, so if something does come up, then we will be able to talk about it.
Yeah, and I think what's really huge for me is that in a relationship, above everything else, I feel like Micah is my friend that I want to help and that I want to be there for and uplift. And whether that means I'm in some sort of romantic relationship or not, I feel like our friendship comes first, and having you in my life, and I mean, you just have really amazing energy, and I resonate with you so much, and I just love you so much, and it feels like our friendship is number one. And so I kind of always come into our conversations with that mindset, like I'm just here to listen and to let Micah express herself, and to maybe provide something if it feels right, but mostly just to try and really get into like her world and how she's really feeling about something, and not come from this space of ego, like, oh, she did something with this other person and now I feel like I'm missing out or something like that. I really just want to know what's going on for Micah and how she's feeling.
Yeah, it's something I actually really appreciate, is how well he like allows me to be myself. And I think something that I'm learning is how to share more truthfully like everything that I'm feeling. So there are ways in other relationships that I didn't feel like the safety, I guess, to express myself. And so I've been trying with Hyatt to just be really radically honest, like, I'm going to Burning Man, I may want to have an orgy, I don't know, like what does it feel like to actually like really own myself and my experience, so that essentially like he can really know who I am, and like instead of hiding, I guess, the parts of me that might scare him away, it's like I just like let those be known, because if he's gonna run away, then that's fine, he's not my perfect partner anyway. And I think by sharing that, it's actually maybe drawn us closer together, and I feel more acceptance for myself and my desire, like through his acceptance of me. Yeah, so I want to ask, like, I want to talk about kind of creating a new relationship pattern, and like what it's like to feel, like a new relationship paradigm, and how you look at like what we're creating and how we're creating it.
Yeah, I think that I've had this sort of saying for a long time that I don't really want to put labels on anything. I just want to be human with other humans. And so that kind of feels like it's what I'm doing here. Like we're just being human beings together, very open, authentic humans. And that feels really good, to feel like you have that space to express yourself and have somebody receive it, even in a romantic relationship, and still like love you and feel connected with you. And I don't know how I would come up with how I think this relationship dynamic or paradigm is, because it feels so flowy, and like I'm just kind of mostly in the moment. And it feels really good to feel that way too. I feel like in a lot of relationships, I am just like, okay, how am I gonna make this future work? How am I going to set myself up in a way that's going to support this relationship? But here, I don't have like as much of that anxiety, and it just feels really good to just kind of do whatever with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the word flowy. I feel a lot of flow also in our connection, and just like I love Hyatt's trust and use of his intuition. And there's a way that you keep me grounded when I can go like way into future, far sight, big vision, and he kind of is like, whoa, like let's just feel this right now. But it's also, it feels important to me because there is a reality that I am trying to create a life and a partnership and essentially family down the road. So I do feel like we have talks about future also, and make sure that we're in alignment. And I think that something that has been fun is like kind of just talking about like our separate visions of future and what could be possible. And yeah, I also just want to touch on like creating a new paradigm where we don't really like play out our fear mechanisms from past relationships. Like we've definitely talked about traumas and old stuff, but we don't like play out some like you're gonna do this to me thing. Yeah. It's just like, wow, I love that we get to conversate and create exactly what we want this to look like. So we're kind of always looking at now or forward versus maybe sticking into like ruts of like what happened in the past.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, like, what do you feel like right now in our relationship?
Right now, I feel really good about our goals and visions and being able to like achieve those with ease, even if it doesn't look like maybe we have a whole lot of anything. It just seems like, oh yeah, that's gonna be easy for us. I feel like there is an aspect of sex where it is the most conscious transformative sex that I've experienced, and I also feel like right now I'm ejaculating more than I'd like to be, and yeah, so that's something that I'm navigating through and trying to like just control in myself, because I feel like it's really, something that I want to work on, being able to control myself and not just like ejaculate every time we have sex. So that's an aspect of our relationship that I'm feeling right now. Is there anything that you want to say about any of that? Just listen. Okay. Yeah, and I just really like how easy it feels to be with you and to not be with you, and like it feels really good to kind of have space, but then also get super excited when you text me and like, do you want to come over, and I'm like, yes. So it just feels super easy, super flowy. Like I feel like we haven't had any sort of necessarily big hiccups, and anything that's on our hearts that is alive for us, it seems like we talk about it, and that feels easy. So I just feel like this is an easy, comfortable, super transformative relationship.
Ugh, I love that. Yeah, I always like have this thought with like partners that it's like this should be easy, and you saying that, I'm like, oh, it is easy. We actually haven't had any hiccups or like really a fight yet, and I'm like, huh, maybe that we don't have to fight.
It's-
That's cool.
Yeah, it's funny because in past relationships, that's what I've always thought is like, we don't have to fight. Like, we don't have to. And they're all like, yes, fighting is healthy. Fighting is something that should happen in a relationship. And I'm just like, why?
Why? Yeah, why do we need to fight? Like, yeah, I don't fight in most of my friendships. Why do I need to fight with my lover? I don't. Yeah. Yeah, I love navigating this relationship with you. And I think right now I feel so much acceptance, and I love getting to feel how we are deepening into each other. Kind of every time we see each other, and every new day, it feels like I'm discovering layers of myself by being like in this mirror that I wouldn't get to see or haven't seen on my own. And then I also feel so loved and supported, like both in my dietary change, and like in the journey of kind of switching to fruitarian, which has really happened for me, but has been really nice to be supported by Hyatt. And I feel just a lot of excitement to see a changing body, to have that, like someone to share that with, and to just really allow myself to be loved really fully. I feel like I'm getting to fall in love with myself more. And then there are just so many ways that you like astound me as a human. And so I feel blessed to kind of just get to be in your company a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, the way we met is through authentic relating, which is a big thing in Texas, and so we're in the Dallas area, and yeah, we met like a little over a year ago in authentic relating, and that's something that I really appreciate and am grateful for in this relationship, is our ability to authentically relate and be in this community that feels like it's brought us so much in our communication skills and how we interact with each other. Feels really nice.
Absolutely. I think finding someone who I have so many common threads of interest with has been so nice. Like we authentically relate, which is really a strong passion for both of us, and is just awesome. But then we also ecstatic dance. We both kind of play with acro yoga. We have, like a lot of food passion and health like commonality. I think that our sexual sides meet each other really well also, and there's just like a lot of positivity, which is really nice to be with like someone else who sees the world in a positive light, kind of the way I think that I do. Yeah, it just feels so nice to meet someone who has so many different threads that are the same. And it's also cool because we've talked about this a lot, but after we first met over a year ago, Hyatt actually started dating someone that I was dating. So we were metamors for a moment, and that was kind of, I don't know, like in that little storyline was our first kiss. And so it's interesting to see like that we didn't really start here, like, oh, I like you. But there was still something that was kind of pulling us towards each other with this mutual attraction. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's fun to think about.
Yeah.
Yeah. I notice in like this video right now, and thinking about making videos with you, there's always this thought in my mind of like how people will view your body, and thinking like, yeah, she's a little overweight, and I wonder like what your diet is, and like I wonder what people imagine when they see us together, and also wanting to just share that you used to be even more overweight, and that I feel like you look better than you ever have, that I've seen you, and that I just feel like you're doing super amazing with your diet and with your emotions, and yeah, just everything. feels really good. Just wanted to share that because that was kind of in my mind.
Yeah, I appreciate you pointing that out. I think sometimes, well, I noticed less this time, but the first time we made a video together, I was like really self-conscious of kind of like your size next to my size. And this time it doesn't feel like that strong in me.
Yeah.
And it feels like I've just been in so much transformation in my body, and I'm learning how to love it a lot. And I think even making videos, like a part of my reality and what has kept me from making YouTube videos for so long was this fear of how people were going to view me, and like not having the opportunity to kind of explain what I've gone through with weight and weight loss. And it feels fun to just go like, oh well, like you don't know and I'm not going to tell you. And maybe there will be videos later about that, but it does feel good. Like I keep noticing kind of like some different postures in myself, and I feel really good about how I look right now. And I also feel really positive about kind of the continuation of our relationship, the continuation of my relationship with food, and cleaning my body out. And like, especially as we kind of just like talk about the potential of children, or like what that would look like, starting to think more about preparing myself for like for being a mother. And so it feels like that's just something that's super alive. And yeah, I feel really supported in how you love and accept my body. And like also I really appreciate the places where Hyatt like also is honest with me. And like the other day we were kind of talking about posture and like stance, and he was like, yeah, well, if you had like less weight on your body, I could probably see where you were out of alignment better. And I just really appreciate like the honesty of having a relationship where we can really talk to each other and not say like sugarcoat, like, do I look pretty today? And he's like, yeah, baby, you look great. You know, like sometimes like actually, you know, you ate cooked food for a week and you're not looking so good, and I don't really want to like play with you right now. And I think it's been really nice to like have that honesty between us, because I think it would go the other way. Like today I was like, I wonder what you'd look like without this beard, you know, like we both have opinions, we both have different bodies, we have different structures, and we're all just kind of like figuring this out, and different people have different attraction spectrums, whatever. So I think it just adds to like the level of honesty that we have with each other.
Yeah. So I'm feeling like I would prefer that this video not go too much
we're definitely
longer.
there.
I think that the last thing that feels alive for me is just I wanted to say how excited I am to do videos with you, and I feel like maybe in a lot of my videos I seem a certain way, and that making videos with you and collaborating feels like it sort of brings out things that maybe people don't typically see in my normal videos, and I think that that's exciting and fun. And so I appreciate that.
Yeah, and to like all the people who know Hyatt and don't know me, thanks for I guess like taking an interest and being a part of our journey. And I hope that we just have more exciting stuff to come as we continue to collaborate and also work individually. The other day I was reading a poem that I wrote, and it's really just strong with me, like these two pillars that stand and support each other, so we can like lean into each other, but then we also still stand individually strong. And I think it feels like that's what we're creating here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. This has been fun.
I think so too.
Okay. So I think that's it.
Thank you so much for watching, and give a like if you liked it, and subscribe if you want to see more videos from us.
Yeah. And be well. Go create your own relationship paradigms in the world and find some love.